All right. The price is right. Let's dive into these videos. 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's go. Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show, where we discuss culture, news, politics, and more. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the revolution.
Come on,
What's
man.
up, everyone? Oh, come on, man. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. It's Friday. I'm feeling good. You're feeling good. We're all feeling good. Get in the chat. Let me know how you're thinking, how you feeling, how you thinking. But let's watch some videos, some silly videos, and do some recap of the week and what's going on there. If you want to support my show, go to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show. I greatly appreciate it. Buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show. And what else? Share this video on all platforms. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let's get into the news as we begin, my friends. California governor admits LA. Oh, how I love this title. California governor admits LA looks like a third world country. Why did it take so long? It's only looked like that for a very long time. Why do you think so many people move out of there then move in? I can't imagine why. Let's see here. Ooh, CNN has a new clip. Let's watch this bad boy. Oh, first of all, before I get started, shout out to the Post Millennial. I always appreciate the willingness to put up videos and clips and stuff like that. And it just makes it easy and nice to recap stuff. Shout out to Post Millennial. Hilarious. Oh my gosh. You know what I just realized? That my sound was all off. Let's fix that. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go.
Scott, I read a piece that you just wrote, essentially saying this is Joe Biden doing what Joe Biden does.
Yeah, well, I never imagined how quickly this would all unfold. The person they sold on the campaign, the nice old, moderate grandpa who just wanted to help everybody get along and compromise, is not.
Stop. Nobody was selling moderate grandpa except for corporate media. They were the only people that were shouting out moderate grandpa. It's the only people with, I wanted to say without a brain, but with no history of who Joe Biden is. It's just silly that anyone even thought that to begin with. Honestly, let's keep listening.
Scott, I read a piece that you just wrote, essentially saying this is Joe Biden doing what Joe Biden does.
Yeah, well, I never imagined how quickly this would all unfold. The person they sold on the campaign, the nice old, moderate grandpa who just wanted to help everybody get along and compromise, is not what we got over the last year.
Howdy, American Guard.
He has no mandate really to do much of anything. It's amazing that he got a couple of things done when the mandate was really pretty clear. 50-50 Senate, a near 50-50 House, and a pretty close presidential election. The mandate was simply replace Donald Trump and don't do anything drastic or stupid. And everything about this agenda is extremely drastic. And he's been angrier than I think people expected. He's been...
Okay. No one thought that Joe Biden is angrier than people expected. I swear people have like such a short span of Joe Biden throughout the years. He's always been a very grumpy, angry old guy. I mean, Obama said what? Don't leave it up to Joe to mess something up. I mean, Joe Biden's always been this very angry figure when you push him. He can't handle criticism very well. I think a lot of people in our culture can't, but Joe Biden is particularly
more divisive. He's been more partisan. You look at the issues. We built 5 years of coverage on Trump out of Russia, COVID, and democracy. The president at his press conference invites Russia to invade Ukraine. We got more deaths under Biden than Trump. And now we have the president and vice president and leading Democrats question the legitimacy of the 2022 election. Are we any better off on these three issues that we crucified Trump over? I think he has a lot of political problems, and an AP poll came out this morning. Only 28% of Americans want the sitting president to run for re-election, and fewer than half of Democrats. This is a disaster.
Scott,
Of course it's a disaster. I mean, come on. Wait, what? I mean, seriously, who thought that this was going to be a great idea, putting Joe Biden in office? I just don't. Literally nothing about him says I'm doing a great job. I think it's funny. I think it's funny how much CNN is like. So there's this clip. CNN is saying that Joe Biden is pivoting from his first year term because it's gone so poorly. And in some essence, it's kind of ironic. It's almost like they're all on the same schedule. CNN is starting to pivot the way they talk about Joe Biden, too. It's not this charismatic guy who's bringing about joy and peace to the world above, that he's actually doing a really terrible job. And so are all the Democrats that were elected. It's almost working out perfectly, but at the same time, it's ruining the country for if you're a Republican. It just doesn't make any sense. How you could look at what Joe Biden's doing and think, yeah, this guy gets it. This guy's doing a good job. I don't care what anyone says. See, if Biden smiles, he's angry. Yes. Needs to be brought to the table again. We all know. Okay. I don't know, American Guard. I think that your attention should be placed towards campaigning and helping elect people you want to get elected rather than talking about. I just think it's kind of a losing battle and nothing's going to happen. I mean, has anything happened since everyone's been talking about that? Nothing. So I don't know. I don't know what's supposed to happen. We can talk about till the cows come home. It was fortified, as what Time Magazine said. It's definitely a conservative effort. I mean, where's Black Lives Matter now after Joe Biden's been elected? I have freaking no idea. All right, next clip. Let's go to this one. John freaking Kennedy. John Kennedy is an American hero. John Kennedy, China's strength and China's bullying has been frankly caused by the weakness in the world and the world leaders. Yeah. All right, let's listen.
There is a bill circulating, as you know, right now to follow through on that White House threat and sanction China. Are you signing on, and if so, why?
I haven't read the bill, but I'll probably sign on. Look, we have to face the facts with China. First, it's important to distinguish between the people of China and the Chinese Communist Party, which is populated by thugs.
Right.
Number two, you can't trust the Chinese Communist Party, ever. I wouldn't turn my back on them if they were 2 days dead. Number three, China's strength and China's bullying has been, frankly, caused by the weaniness of the world and the world leaders. For 20 years, the experts and many world leaders have said, be patient with China. Free enterprise will change them. Well, they've changed free enterprise. The United Kingdom never should have given up Hong Kong to China in 1997.
No, they shouldn't have. Mm-hmm.
And we should have protested more. And fourth, weakness invites the wolves. That's all the Chinese Communist Party understands. We've got to push back, and we've got to join the rest of the world and encourage them to do so, including but not limited to sanctions. We may have to revoke the special trade status with Hong Kong. The people of Hong Kong have got to face a tough decision here. They can get out or they can fight to the very end. Well, but China's taking them over.
China's a huge problem, but it's a problem that no one wants.
There is.
In this clip right here, John Kennedy talks about how China is a huge problem, how the politicians are doing nothing about it. I mean, spoken from the multi-billionaire's mouth himself with the Golden State Warriors, they don't care about the Uyghur Muslims. So, I hate that he said that, and he had the power, the balls, the cojones enough to say that. I think it's insane, but it makes sense because all of us are looking at what's going on and nothing's being done, and we're all pretending like it's all good when it's not all good. It doesn't make sense what's going on. Everyone's saying China's a threat, but at the same time, we're not manufacturing goods here. So what's the answer for China? Let me know. What are you saying? The plan is to push back hard in 22, take back the House, Senate, create yeah. I think the plan is to push back 22, especially I just want logically thinking people in the House and Senate. I don't care, Republican or Democrat. I don't think Republicans are the answer necessarily because they haven't been the answer. They haven't done anything. I mean, you get a bunch of Lindsey Grahams in the office, Mitch McConnell's. Yeah, we're doing great, but I need more people like a Joe Kent and stuff like that. No witch hunt, just evidence. Yeah, I would love more evidence. I thought that's why I was like, January 6th committee, cool. Let's get into all the footage, all of it, instead of just cherry picking, and maybe allow the American public to watch the footage too. I don't know. Let's think about that. Next one, Biden says we shouldn't be cutting police funding, but increasing it after 4 years of okay, let's go to this video. Here we go.
So people can have safe places closer to their jobs. Funding proven programs to help fight violent crime. We shouldn't be cutting funding for police departments. I propose increasing funding. Look, we ask cops to do everything, including be psychologists and social workers. Guess what?
Chicken
they
butt.
need psychologists and social workers. So people can have safe places.
Okay, that's a big nothing burger for me. Oh, Jen Psaki, my favorite.
So
let's get into this clip.
So my advice to everyone out there who's frustrated, sad, angry, pissed off, feel those emotions, go to a kickboxing class, have a margarita, do whatever you need to do this weekend, and then wake up on Monday morning, we got to keep fighting. And what that means, Lindsay, is we have to keep talking to members about federal legislation. That's essential. That's something that can be permanent, that can make sure people's rights are protected. But we also need to make sure people are educated in states across the country about what their rights are, how they can vote, when they can vote, how to request an absentee ballot. There's a lot we need to do on that front, and that's going to rely on the energy and the anger of that activism as well.
What? Wait. Okay. Look at this video from Jen Psaki. If you are angry, mad at what's going on in the world, you're not particularly excited about what the politicians are doing or what corporate media is up to and stuff like that, Jen Psaki has something she needs to say to you.
So my advice to everyone out there who's frustrated, sad, angry, pissed off, feel those emotions, go to a kickboxing class, have a margarita, do whatever you need to do this weekend, and then wake up on Monday morning, we got to keep fighting.
So go fight someone and get drunk. You heard it from the horse's mouth. What is going on? We're going to primate bad guys. I hope like McConnell. I don't care. Yeah. I just need somebody in the House or Senate that has some cojones and balls and isn't just going to do it to be a careerist or a grifter. And there's just too much of that in politics. I wish more people would just say what they stood for rather than just speaking narratives and stuff. It's so boring. Okay, what's this?
God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. And by the way, the reason we're not going to have any time for questions now is these guys got to get quickly on a plane and go out and do a major announcement in Ohio. And you guys will ask me all about Russia and not about anything having to do with chips. God bless.
Chips. All right. Jen Psaki says what?
Have it signed. Okay. Sorry, I got to wrap it up, guys. You guys got to gather. I'll see you soon. I know. What's the phrase? I would do anything for love. Is that part of it? Okay.
I would do anything for love. Yeah, keep fighting. Yeah. Dude, screw tyranny. Screw, the elites. the World Economic Forum, all those people down there.
Where they have done little to but we're continuing to exert pressure anywhere that hasn't. So in terms of an example would be Florida, where they have done little to distribute money, to little to no steps to distribute money to state across the state and to school districts.
Why do you think, Jen, why do you think they haven't done anything with the money? Because the schools have been open the whole time. So they've been efficient with the money?
Now, part of it is you have to write a plan for how you're going to keep schools open to get the third tranche of money, and some have been delayed in that. But right now, that's an example of a state that could do more. But we're...
Okay. Reporter asked Jen Psaki how many Americans are currently in Ukraine. Jen Psaki says...
Does the president have a plan to evacuate Americans from Ukraine?
I know there have been a range of reports out this morning, which is probably why you're asking, Jackie. I will say that, one, we are already at a level 4 travel advisory for Ukraine for COVID and have advised that U.S. citizens have been advising that U.S. citizens should be aware of reports that Russia is planning for significant military action against Ukraine. We do conduct rigorous contingency planning, as we always do in the event of any security situation deteriorates in any country around the world. The State Department does that assessment. I would point you to them for any predictions or previews of any steps they may take.
Is there any effort right now to get a handle on how many Americans are in Ukraine? Because I remember with Afghanistan,
it's like deja vu all over again.
Is the dynamic different this time?
It's an open question around the world. We don't put a chip in Americans when they go to countries around the world and track their movements. People can register with the State Department. That's something they do. Or they may choose not to register. Or there might be people in any country around the world who are dual citizens who haven't lived in or have never lived in the United States. But the State Department would certainly have the number in terms of Americans who have registered with the State Department.
All right. Jen Psaki, the president. Okay. Let's get into this clip.
He said, on a different topic, on crime, yesterday the Manhattan DA clarified his memo about downgrading certain crimes, and
just quiet.
He said armed robberies, for instance, will be prosecuted as felonies. Violence against police officers won't be tolerated, clearing up some of the confusion around how that office intended to prosecute crimes. Does the White House have a reaction to that, or welcome that kind of clarification, given that these questions do keep resurfacing?
I don't have any reaction from here to the decisions of a local district, I think a district prosecutor or district attorney, DA. I would say that the president, and he'll talk about this, he'll talk about crime, and he asked me about this yesterday, but I think can expect to hear him talk a little bit about crime during his remarks later this afternoon. The president believes that no one in this country should worry about whether it's safe to ride the subway or the bus or go to work or walk home at night. And that's why he's put more.
I love what she's reading. Anytime they just start reading, it's just a narrative. Why would you have to read that? The president is not worried about people getting murdered in the subway. The president doesn't want you to have a safe subway ride. Thanks for reading that, Jen. Thanks for that clarification. The president can walk away. Oh my God, this question. Here we go.
The president can.
She's okay. Not only has she said this before, she's keeps saying it.
Well, the president can walk and chew gum at the same time. I think what people can expect. Well,
she keeps saying that. Okay. All right. The View. Now we're getting into the fun.
Folks, do you think that Trump's
God, you know, The View just cannot quit Trump. It's just too much. Let's mention the regime. Once more with Russia lose, so NATO knocked out. China can get rich. Yeah, China is very powerful and will take advantage of the situation. It's kind of unreal how many people are just willing to go to war over Ukraine. It's a very tough thing to talk about. It's not easy to just be like, well, it's not our place, so we should just back away and then watch people get murdered. So either way, it's not like the easiest decision in the whole world. It's just it's a very tough situation, but I getting involved in it. It's just I'm not for it. I just think that we're not in a place economically financially, militarily, to be able to go down there and fight. It's just kind of silly. It's like, it's not the 1940s. Let's listen.
Do you think that that Trump's the ring kissing that he did with Putin contributed to the fact that Putin is emboldened now more?
Yes.
Huh?
What kind of stupid comment is that? Okay. The View. Listen to this clip from The View. It's just, I can't. Who takes these people seriously?
Do you think that that Trump's the ring kissing that he did with Putin contributed to the fact that Putin is emboldened now more?
Yes.
Huh?
Absolutely.
And the guy from Fox also, who is
Tucker Carlson
is
behind.
Tucker is all in for Russia.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible that Joe's not telling folks exactly what he's going to do?
Joe's so cool.
No.
Yeah. The reason Putin feels emboldened right now is because of Trump. What kind of... I don't know if people know this, but Trump is not the president right now. God. These people are just nuts. When you're so fixated on a narrative and you're looking at truth straight in the face, sometimes it's hard to just back up and say, you know what? I got it wrong. Good night. Gotta go. Great live stream to the other. Thank you so much, America's Guard. Have a good one, my dude. Stay frosty on the outside. Stay warm within. Always, always, always. Okay. Kathy.
Regarding the mask mandates, I want to know if the state has a particular number, whether that be like test.
Okay, so this is Kathy Hochul, New York governor. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Regarding the mask mandates, I want to know if the state has a particular number, whether that be like a test positivity rate or a hospitalization rate, that when we go under that, the mask mandates will be lifted, or is the state playing that by ear?
We're not playing it by ear. We're going to be driven by data and look at what our situation was prior to the mandates and assess, was that the right number to go back to? I can't say with certainty, but that is a starting point to look at the number before we instituted these. We instituted these because we saw the storm coming our way. We watched the global trends. We saw how quickly this escalated upward in other countries like England and South Africa, and we knew that could hit us. That's why we took steps literally the day the first case arrived in New York State, which was December 2nd, and announced the first series of restrictions on going up for the next couple of weeks. So I think about this a lot. I'm not going to operate in a vacuum. We're going to have data and experts and people who know a lot about what the next trends are. But I am really looking forward to...
I love when people can just say data and experts and stuff like that, and people are like,
people
oh,
are
okay,
tired,
yeah.
But also I'll say one thing about the kids. My daughter had a meltdown over
Who
having
are these
sneakers
experts?
on to go to kindergarten. She got used to wearing sneakers in school. I mean, they adapt better than adults do. And
no, they don't.
I'm really proud of the parents who...
That is such a false statement that kids adapt better than adults. They don't. They take it on, they accept it, but they carry hurts and pains. That's why there's a thing called psychotherapy. That's why the inner child. I mean, there's a whole psychology devoted to it. Okay, look at this. All right, what's this?
Angering, all of those things. Look, I think this week has been frustrating, devastating, angering, all of those things.
Jen Psaki has some kind words to say to us this week.
Look, I think this week has been frustrating, devastating, angering, all of those things.
Yes, Jen, and I can't think of the reason why. Oh, Jen. All right. Now let's go to one of my faves. Let's go to the libs of TikTok. You can always get some silly videos from silly human beings on this app. Okay, here we go. Code really broke people.
And because people are always so concerned when people drive in the car with masks, I thought I would show you how I take it off. So, sanitize. I I usually put my N95 in a paper bag, but I only have a plastic one today, so we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna put it on the floor for now. I'll transfer it to a paper bag when I get home. Sanitize again, and now I am ready to buckle.
What? Oh man, I could barely get myself to wash my hands after going to the. I'm just kidding. What's this? Oh no. Oh no. Why? Why are we doing this to people? Look at this. Just look at this. I mean, people are in front of each other. They're looking at each other through a plexiglass, and I'm sure right after they get out of the pool, they'll just go ahead and talk to each other. This is the world we're living in. It's not optics, it's science. Get over it. Oh, that's just depressing to look at. What's next? Speech therapy is hard with masks. Of course it is. How are you supposed to do it? You can't see their face. Oh, man. Leroy, what's this? An elementary school in Ohio is hosting an after-school Satan club. Elementary school? Wait, what? How is this real? All right, let's read this. It's just so you know I'm not making this stuff up. All right. An after-school program for elementary school kids is a Satan Club. Hey, kids, let's have some fun after school. Satan Club. Science projects, puzzles and games, arts and crafts, nature activities. Parents, your children will learn empathy, critical thinking, problem solving, creative expression, personal sovereignty. Okay. After school, Satan clubs are taught by volunteer teachers who have passed criminal background checks and have been vetted by the executive ministry. Okay. This is just insane. Why are we having an elementary school whatever. It just seems like at this point, everything goes, you can't. You have minor attracted persons and you have stuff like this right now. Sometimes in life you're just speechless, and this is one of those times. It's real. It's real. All right, what's this?
January 17th. My name is Carolyn Brajowski. On Monday, January 17th, 2022, my presentation to the school board was halted shortly after I began, and I was ejected from the meeting for reading excerpts from children's books and commenting on their age appropriateness. The following morning, HR informed me that I was immediately assigned to home, pending a formal investigation and banned from contacting my colleagues and students. This was particularly upsetting to me because I love my students, and I have not seen them since December. When my students excitedly returned to school on Tuesday, first day of in-class learning after yet another lockdown, their teacher was not there, and they did not know why. I have been silenced and punished. Meanwhile, board members have taken to radio, television, social media to grossly misrepresent my remarks. I feel bullied, slandered, and abused. Yeah. The school board has removed the video of the meeting from their YouTube channel so people are not able to hear what I actually said. Most of the short video is me reading excerpts from 2 books available to any young child who is able to read. My few comments express concerns about age-inappropriate sexual content. I did not and do not question the rights of trans persons to exist in any way. I fully support the human rights of transgender people. I have promoted human rights throughout my entire
Oh, I'm sure she's just fine. But this is what happens. You can't critique or question anything in life anymore without it being an all-out assault and attack on someone. During a school board meeting this week, a teacher reads from an inappropriate book available to elementary-age students and gets shut down by the chair, who slams it's a violation of human rights code.
resources. We teachers received a long list of books and resources for Transgender Awareness Week. Some of these books are a positive addition because they show diverse families and represent a variety of ethnicities. However, I am very concerned that some of the resources in our elementary school libraries are inappropriate for young children. The resources that I am now showing are all in K-6 libraries. In the book Rick by Alex Gino, a boy named Jeff keeps talking to Rick about naked girls. Rick is confused because he doesn't think about naked girls, so he wonders if something's wrong with him. Rick gets invited to the school's Rainbow Club, and he ends up declaring an asexual identity. While reading this book, I was thinking, maybe Rick doesn't have sexual feelings yet because he is a child. It concerns me that this book leaves young boys wondering if there is something wrong with them if they aren't thinking about naked girls all the time. Well, so what message does this book send to young girls who might be in grade 3, 4? They are children. Let them grow up in their own time and stop pressuring them to be sexual so soon. In fact, some of the books filling our libraries make it seem simple or even cool to take puberty blockers and opposite sex hormones. The Other Boy by M.G. Hennessy.
Ms. Brajowski, I'm just getting a little concerned that your content may be problematic. I'm not sure exactly where you're headed, but I would caution you to make sure that you are not saying anything that would violate the Human Rights Code.
Oh, I'm not saying anything that would.
Why would that? How is this violating?
So please continue.
The Human Rights Code.
Against your time.
What a silly thing to say.
That I can be heard because these are misleading books, and I'd like to tell you why. The other book by M.G. Hennessy chronicles the medical transition of Shane, who was born female and now identifies as a boy. Shane takes puberty blockers and is now excited to start testosterone. The doctor states that this hormone mixture will leave Shane infertile in the future. Shane's response is, "It's cool," a very typical adolescent response. This book is misleading because it does not take into account how Shane might feel later in life about being infertile. This book makes very serious medical interventions seem like an easy cure for emotional and social distress. And remember,
so I'm going to have to
Point of order.
I'm going to point out that the Ontario Human Rights Code includes gender identity and gender expression as prohibited grounds for discrimination, and I am concerned that your comments are in violation of that, so I'm ending the presentation.
Wow. This is the problem, is that you're not even allowed to discuss these issues without being shut down immediately. If it's wrong, let it be wrong and discuss it and come to a conclusion through facts or, philosophy or whatever bias you bring to the argument and cultural background, whatever you want to talk about. But just to shut it down, you're not helping anything. You're making things worse. You're making people more angry. You're shutting down speech. You're you're silencing a human being's voice and only allowing one side to be heard. It's not healthy. It's on purpose. Everything about this kind of stuff is on purpose. It's not like these people are just like silly or not thinking things through. Shutting down speech and putting literature like this in the hands of children it's all on purpose. What's this?
I'm taking a COVID test? No. I literally think it's positive. Oh my god. Mom, I've fallen. Test? No. getting upset. That was like the coolest characteristic about myself that I haven't gotten.
My coolest characteristic? That's really sad.
Take another one. I'm so sad. Relax.
Oh my gosh. Honestly. Okay. This kind of stuff makes me really sad about the future. Because as I've always said, that COVID is more of a moral issue than it is about viruses, science.
I feel really hot.
Here's a girl
so
getting the
taking a
COVID test.
No. I literally think it's positive. Oh my god. Mom,
I've fallen. I've sinned. I need to be saved. I'm not laughing at her. I'm laughing. It's just there are so many people to blame for this kind of mentality and thinking when you get sick. Imagine getting the cold and thinking that it's sit in your life and you need to go pray to someone to get rid of it. It's so weird to me. I don't know what you guys think. What's this?
Someone who goes to the gym. Okay. So if you can show me someone who goes to the gym and like works out and like cares a lot about like their health, who
Me?
doesn't have orthorexia or some other form of eating disorder, or who doesn't like do this because of like deep-rooted internalized fat phobia and just like hatred for fat people and disgust for fat people, then I will believe that health culture, like being healthy, isn't always bad. But until I find that person, until I find someone who goes to the gym and like cares about their fucking fitness and whatever, and doesn't hate fat people, doesn't equate fitness to health, and doesn't have an eating disorder that they pretend is just like gains, then I will I'll change my
Gains,
mind.
bro.
This is all to say that I think gym culture, diet culture, health culture, fitness culture is inherently fat phobic.
Okay. This kind of mentality needs to stop when it comes to diet, health, conscious. Well, how am I going to say this? I need to think this through. I feel like I need to hear what she has to say one more time, because I think these kind of videos are important for how culture and where we are going. Let's watch this video of this girl talking about diet and health and fitness culture, because I think it's important to know somewhat what the younger generation is thinking in regards to that, especially if you're morbidly obese or overweight and stuff like that. Let's listen to this.
So if you can show me someone who goes to the gym and like works out and like cares a lot about like their health, who doesn't have orthorexia or some other form of eating disorder, or who doesn't like do this because of like deep-rooted internalized fat phobia and just like hatred for fat people and disgust for fat people, then I will believe that health culture, like being healthy, isn't always bad.
Stop. I lost over 65 pounds in a period of my life where I was using food to escape reality. I was using it like an alcoholic uses alcohol to escape reality, to escape the emotions, escape your feelings, escape the pain in my life. I use food as a way out, in a way of celebration as well. I would hide food underneath the bed and I would eat food away from my parents. I would eat dinner and then I would take my car, go drive out later that night, and I would go eat again. It wasn't because I was scared to be fat or scared of fat people. I did it because I was abusing food to escape the reality of life. And internally and during those times, depression set in. I think we have a culture in our society that is okay with being addicted to food more than they are okay with being addicted to going to the gym. And I think there always is a capacity for not being healthy, being addicted to the gym and stuff like that, as always. But the reason I lost weight, the reason I got into fitness is because of my depression, because of my addiction. And I'm okay to talk about it anytime you guys want to. It wasn't that I was trying to look a certain way. People get too wrapped up in the way they look and stop thinking about how they feel when they eat healthy, how they feel when they work out. As statistics show that working out, fitness, going to the gym is in some ways better and just as effective as taking an antidepressant. That's why when you you meet with people who are depressed, that's why when you talk to them, your first question is always, how much are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Are you going for walks? Are you going to the gym? That's why it's always one of the first questions you ask before you just continue down the slope. Because if they are just sitting at home in the dark all day long, you're going to be depressed. Being obese isn't healthy, and this needs to change. It's not that you hate these people. I used to be morbidly obese. Very, very obese. And it had nothing to do with the way I looked. It had everything to do with the way I felt. Let's keep listening.
But until I find that person, until I find someone who goes to
I'm
the
right
gym
here,
and
girl.
like, cares about their
I'm right here.
fucking fitness and whatever,
I'm right
and
here.
doesn't hate fat people, doesn't equate.
And again, I go to the gym for my mental health more than I do for the way I want to look or something like that. It's all about my mental health because it's, you know how they call it self-care? I call the gym sanity care.
Fitness to health and doesn't have an eating disorder that they pretend is just like gains, then I will be,
Gains,
then
bro.
I'll change my mind.
I'm right here. I eat healthy. I eat whole foods. I cook my meals. I don't eat anything out of the box, and I feel so much better. And obviously, I look a lot better as far as like I can fit into clothes. I can go to a place, and I don't have to search down the rack for something that doesn't fit, or just blame the company saying this company's clothes never fits me right. It's because I'm way overweight. But let's keep listening.
This is all to say that I think gym culture, diet culture, health culture, fitness culture is inherently fat phobic, ableist, and like capitalism, like very, very capitalist.
Gym culture, in some degree, can have that aspect. Yes, there are bullies or all those kind of crazy people, of course. But to say that what'd she say?
Gym culture, diet culture, health culture, fitness culture is inherently fat phobic.
No. Has nothing to do with that. Has everything to do with how mentally you feel. It's not a fat phobic thing. People aren't running around scared of fat people. Here's what I think is really happening in this video. And she might not be ready to hear this, but I think this is a deep insecurity rising to the top and allowing that insecurity to dictate what she says and how she feels in this moment regarding maybe her weight or what goes on in the gym. When I first started going to the gym, I felt insecure as well. I felt ashamed of who I was. I felt like a loser lifting weights. I didn't know what to do. I felt lonely. I felt lost. There is a lot of that feeling that comes with going to the gym. And the only way to do it is to make it discipline and tell yourself why you're going to the gym, why you're eating well. It's not because you're trying to look a certain way. There is that aspect where that's not the most healthy way to view it. You go to the gym because you want to feel better. You want to feel more alive. You want to not just slowly wither and die away. That's why we go to the gym. It's not a fat phobic thing. There are douchebags in the gym, but there are douchebags everywhere. I'm not one of those douchebags. Some come say hi to me if you see me. All right, next video. But it's just a deep-rooted insecurity when I watch these videos. And instead of attacking other people to live the way you want to live or live how you feel like the world should be viewing you, address it. Go see someone. Go get help. And, you know, I just, it has nothing to do with like me hating those people or I used to hate myself and that's why I did it. It had nothing to do with that. Leaked emails show LA mayor, former chief, calling Black Lives Matter. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Leaked emails show LA mayor's former chief staff calling Black Lives Matter annoying. No. Oh. So this happened last night. Okay.
If that's what you're doing, I respect it.
Well, I appreciate that, miss.
Anyway, if that's what you're doing, I respect it.
Well, I appreciate that, miss. But, in any event,
What the
I'm
fuck
gonna
did
get...
you just call me?
I said miss.
His face.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Watch your mouth, young lady.
What's wrong calling you miss? What just happened?
Do you call people that? What the fuck do you call people that for?
His face is how I feel. What?
Sorry, I did not mean to offend you. It's just me.
He misgendered her. What's this?
To continue teaching after segregating and discriminating against who have allowed an AM called fifth grade teacher to continue teaching after segregating and discriminating against kids in the classroom and allowed her to take kids for privilege walks.
Ooh, a privilege walk. I had to do that in college, but doing it with kids, that's just weird. You're trying to create bullies. You're trying to create division in the classroom instead of so many of these teachers. Oh my God, so many of these teachers are like they don't understand the psychology of the human brain development. What's this? White dads succeed birth. Oh, okay. That is not something to celebrate. All right. This has been fun, guys. I appreciate your comments and your texts. And we are currently live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook as well. Let's go to my cherry on the top. Let's go to the Matt Walsh being on Dr. Phil. I think this video on Dr. Phil is incredible, to say the least. Whether you agree with him or not, just the fact that he's willing to engage in this, even on a silly show such as Dr. Phil, is incredible. But, all right. Let's watch this clip of Dr. Phil and Matt Walsh.
That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl, well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. Like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't, because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman
I love when people
is
say
someone who
interesting.
is female,
Interesting.
You said, right?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not myself.
You used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right? So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
was to each their own. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently. And so trans women are women too.
Okay.
And you want to hold on. You want to reduce. Listen.
You can't say clapping.
So you want to reduce women. You want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes, right? That's what you're saying.
What you want to do is
that's what
you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that can be worn. That's a.
All right. So much to unpack in this video, but I think it all boils down to this. Language is incredibly important. And that's what Matt Walsh's biggest problem is in this debate, is he is trying to define woman, and they, them on the panel can't, because it's subjective, it's fluid. And so you have two different people coming from two different realities, and they'll never see eye to eye because they can't agree on language. And I think Matt Walsh is trying to get them to agree on language, trying to get them to say, well, define this word for me. But this is the problem with some of the postmodern Marxist ideology, is that definitions are all fluid. And so you can change the definition based on your cultural bias, your background, your family, your history, whatever group you want to. You can take a whole group of people and bring it into a language and create new language within that language. I might be losing some people, but this is a huge problem, and you're never going to see eye to eye with either of these people. These people will never see eye to eye because they're coming from two different realities. They're speaking from two different realities, and they'll never see eye to eye with one another. And this is our biggest problem in our country today, is that we're in different bubbles. We're in different areas. At least Matt is trying to find some common ground by saying, okay, define it for me, so then we can argue it, so we can say what we believe. But when you have somebody that says, I don't know how to define it, I can't define it, this is where you end up every single time. And it's just this is why our society and culturally today, it's so difficult to meet people and talk to people of different backgrounds and different ideologies and different faiths, theologies and stuff like that, because we can't even agree on terms anymore. I don't know how you fix that. Usually it turns into a revolution that doesn't end well. So let me know your thoughts on this. Let's see. What does he say here?
Male or female.
Right.
And there should be no construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created
Whoa,
as.
Crow, what up? I would like to be a... I don't know what meeting you're talking about. But I will call you that.
Of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned.
I love listening to Dr. Phil. He's so silly. I just, if I was on the show, I'd be like, just get it out, man. Whatever you're going to say it.
At birth, based on their genitalia, if they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
He's trying to understand.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the realities. You can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but...
No, see, this is where Matt Walsh loses me right now, because I know that he's saying that it's different realities, and that's he's saying that he's in reality, they're not. They're in two different realities. Let's just leave it at that, because I think when you say that someone isn't in reality, you're just gonna make them angry. It doesn't help anybody by just mocking. That's why I've been invited on some debate platforms on YouTube, and I'm just not gonna do it, because there's so many YouTube platforms of people debating that are they just mock each other, and they're just assholes. And you'll never solve anything. You can only solve people through love and peaceful language, and even if the side is abusive.
That doesn't mean they're actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception, or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production.
Okay. This part I agree with Matt Walsh a lot when he says this.
That doesn't mean they're actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception, or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would say this reality, this truth, this way in which you see the world. You can't expect everyone to see how you see yourself, or you see the world around you. That's why as Christians like myself, I'm not going to go around and tell people to stop sinning when there are bigger issues going on. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but there are two different realities, two different ideologies, two different ways of definitions to view words, and they're arguing over definition, and not arguing over. They're trying to argue how to define a word, and they can't, because one side is more of a fluid way to define a word, and the other side is old school scientific background, old books, stuff like that. You're never going to see eye to eye. It's just not going to happen. You can't.
Bathrooms and locker rooms.
Yeah, well, I agree with my fellow Matt over here.
How do you feel about the gender-neutral bathrooms and locker rooms?
Yeah, well, I agree with my fellow Matt over here. Loudoun County is a famous case that the Daily Wire we helped uncover. There was a gender non-conforming boy in a dress who went into a girl's restroom and violently raped a young girl. After that happened, that's when the school district decided, oh, you know what? Now we're going to open up the restrooms and invite the boys in with the girls. Now, here's what happens. Because we hear a lot about, well, gender nonconforming people, transgender people, it makes them feel bad if they're not given access to the bathrooms they want. Well, okay, so they have their feelings. What about the feelings of the girls who are getting raped? There are many girls and many women who are speaking out and saying, we want privacy in our facilities. We don't want a man in the bathroom with us. And then what we hear
Most
from
people
what we
want
hear from
privacy
this side,
in the bathroom.
what we hear from this side.
I did not
is,
say that we want open bathrooms where anyone can go in.
What we hear from this side is that, well, their feelings don't matter. We're not going. Who cares? You just have to deal with it, right? Because the transgender people, the gender nonconforming people, it's their feelings that take priority.
I'm not trying to minimize your concern around it, but I don't know that it's a.
People, it's their feelings.
You still have another bathroom that you can go to.
It's a security issue. My daughter would not feel safe or secure. She had to share a bathroom or a gender-neutral locker room with boys.
See, again, two different realities, two different ways to view the world, and they're never going to see eye to eye. It's just not. Does it necessarily mean if you open up? Okay. This is always like a tough issue and tough things to talk about, but I don't scurry away from the big issues of the day, boys. So I want to hear this one more time. Let's listen to this one more time from Matt Walsh.
How do you feel about the gender-neutral bathrooms and locker rooms?
Yeah, well, I agree with my fellow Matt over here. Loudoun County is a famous case that the Daily Wire we helped uncover. There was a gender non-conforming boy in a dress who went into a girl's restroom and violently raped a young girl. After that happened, that's when the school district decided, oh, you know what? Now we're going to open up the restrooms and invite the boys in with the girls. Now, here's what happens. Because we hear a lot about, well, gender nonconforming people, transgender people, it makes them feel bad if they're not given access to the bathrooms they want. Well, okay, so they have their feelings. What about the feelings of the girls who are getting raped? There are many girls and many women.
Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Opening up the bathrooms to both sexes and trans bathrooms, stuff like that, doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen, but the likelihood goes up and the possibility goes up and the capacity for more crime to happen goes up, just like allowing people to go into prisons, as you're seeing back and forth and stuff like that. So it's not a decent argument to say it's automatically going to happen, but the capacity goes up. Like the way in which it might happen goes up drastically because availability and criminal history, as you makes people uncomfortable to talk about, but it's just reality. But you're not allowed to talk about realities anymore, right? You're not allowed to talk about logically. You're not allowed to logically discuss these type of issues unless you look a certain way, or yeah. I wish we were allowed to talk.
There should be no construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on their genitalia. If they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the realities. You can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things.
Sorry, my chat was doing a number.
You can have whatever
You've been trying to chat me.
But you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. You know, it's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional?
Yeah, I think it's delusion.
Okay, let's watch this Matt Walsh clip one more time.
There should be no construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned.
I can't help but laugh when he
based
talks.
on their genitalia. If they don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the realities. You can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade.
Again, you can't just say. This is where I stop with Matt Walsh. You can't say that, like, if I feel like a tomato plant, I'm a tomato plant. You have, unless there's a community of people that all agree on the verbiage and language that you can be a tomato plant, then you can. That's the only way you can with postmodernism. You can't just say whatever. You have to have a community of people that have language and can identify it. So, but that's where it goes logically. You can logically come up with whatever you want, and that's what Matt Walsh's problem is that he's arguing against someone that can redefine and define words consistently different than what he has been taught and what is in like the dictionary, as the dictionary constantly changes definition based on cultures, bias, history, and all that kind of stuff. So Matt Walsh arguing from two different realities, and they're never going to see eye to eye, and he's going to mock it, and they're going to mock it right back, and it's just going to be a mock-off. But then this is where I have a huge problem too, is that apparently the person he was arguing with online put this out on Instagram after it showed. Please send us both good vibes today. We could really use it. We tried our best with no preparation. Why would you go to a show like that with no preparation? That's on you. For what the Dr. Phil show actually had planned behind our backs, and we hoped our visibility inspires viewers. And then goes on and says, what ended up happening was much different than they discussed with us, and we were left feeling attacked by... You only feel that way when you, I guess, lose an argument or didn't have a good response. And we left feeling attacked by another guest and played by producers. Again, this is insecurity taking over your emotions and allowing it to dictate your reality. And that's not healthy. Since the taping, Ethan and I have been experiencing a heightened level of anxiety to the point that we've had numerous nightmares and depression spirals for the last month. You shouldn't have gone on the show. This has been the worst. And I do feel bad for this person. But it's part about being adult. If you want to go on a show and argue your point, there's a chance that you're going to be made to look stupid. And I would encourage that person. If I was to go on Bill Maher and made to look stupid, I would do a video right afterwards explaining my mentality and what I got wrong, what I could have said better and stuff like that, because I'm sure like having an audience and getting ready, you're going up against a guy that podcasts daily, is a professional podcaster, professional talker. He's going to do well. So you need to come prepped. So this idea that, and this was a different situation. I mean, I think this person probably thought that they're going into Dr. Phil's show and they're just going to be celebrated. They're not going to be challenged in any kind of capacity, because that's the kind of culture we've created. We've created a bunch of people who feel like they should be celebrated over, if you're creating a new word, if you want to redefine a word, you need to be ready to stand by what you believe and the reasons why, as opposed to just like, this word means this now. And if you disagree with me, you attack me. And that's just kind of like mentality we have now. It's just really sad. Well, let's finish it up with some of this Eminem stuff.
M&M's is on a mission to create a world where everyone feels they belong.
Okay, okay, let's watch this video from M&M's. I just can't. Sometimes I got to stop a video and start it because I just can't believe what I'm hearing, but let's listen.
M&M's is on a mission to create a world where everyone feels they belong.
It's a candy.
To start a movement to remind everyone that despite our differences, we have an incredibly powerful thing in common as a community, which is the power of fun. It's actually a reaffirmation, a concrete commitment to what we've always believed as a brand, that the power of fun is the most important way that we can help people feel included and increase that sense of belonging. So as an iconic brand that's been around for actually over 80 years, it's really important that we're evolving over time as well. And one of the most powerful ways we can do that is through our beloved characters. You'll see them as we've done a deep look at them both inside as well as out.
This is so pandering. I mean, even if you're a part of this community, I would just be so mad at this kind of stuff. It's just like Eminem's coming out and going, we decided for White History Month that we're making all our M&Ms white in support of our white brethren. I would not look at that and go, oh, awesome. They're celebrating me, finally. They're finally recognizing me. I'm going to support this company. It's candy. Does it taste good? I'll leave it at that. But, this is the culture we've created. Goodness gracious. Well, praise God. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you guys are enjoying this late night sesh of what's going on in the world. What's next?
In terms of reflecting new looks, personalities, and backstories. For example, Green, you'll see her better reflect empowerment and confidence and be known for more than just her shoes. You're going to see Green and Brown together being a supporting force for women who are throwing shine and not shade. You'll also see Orange really embrace his true
for gingers,
self, worries and all, and not be afraid to express it. We actually know Orange is the most relatable of our characters in the crew.
Thank you.
It's
I am.
based on some conversations we've had with Gen Z, which we know is the most anxious generation. And beyond our characters, you'll see things.
We just, we're at the point now where this Eminem ambassador, whatever you want to call her, says that Orange represents Gen Z for being the most anxious generation. Why does that need to be celebrated? That is something that needs to be looked into and studied to figure out why. Because having anxiety is not healthy. We all deal with anxiety. It's how you deal with anxiety. Are you getting help? Are you getting looked after? Are you getting medicated help? Are you going to see a therapist? Are you going to see a psychiatrist? Are you seeing a psychologist? That needs to be more celebrated, of going to a therapist, going to a psychologist, going to a psychiatrist, rather than celebrating people just having anxiety. No. It's just like encouraging alcoholics to continue to be alcoholics. Like, you do you, boo. Who am I to judge and say stop doing that even though you're destroying your life? Why would I say anything negative to hurt your feelings? Do we call them cis-flavored candy now? Honestly, Crow. I mean, seriously, where's the cis-flavored M&M? I don't feel represented in this time.
Our increased color palette, as well as the different sizes and shapes of our lentils. And a personal favorite of mine, more of an emphasis on the ampersand. It's a distinctive element of the M&M's logo that connects the two M's together. And it's really a signal of our belief as a brand that we are better together.
Oh my gosh. It's just candy. Can we just... Why? I mean, why are we this way? It's like Michael Scott. Why are you the way you are? I can't even. I appreciate you guys. I was gonna play Mario, but this state we ended up like hanging out way longer, and I need to go check on some things. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Crow, appreciate you, my dude. You're amazing. Stay the way you are. Keep doing your thing, boy. Boo, honey, boo boo. I hope this channel doesn't get taken down in this video for putting up Matt Walsh's stuff. I know that's very controversial, but we should be allowed to talk about this. I'm not being hurtful. I'm not telling anyone to, hurt someone's feelings over some of these things I've been talking about tonight. I'm just saying that we should be able to discuss these things in a healthy manner. I'm not trying to attack anyone. I would never attack anyone. It's just not my style. I would never debate people and beat people to a pulp. It's just not me. So, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Share this on all social media platforms. If you want to support me, you go to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show. I would greatly appreciate it. I love you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. And don't forget that I have a live show on Sunday. So check it out. Be sure to put your notification bell on. I think I'm going to try to revamp my videos. I need to go live more. I need to do these kind of videos more. It's way more fun. I put way too much effort in some of these things that don't get enough views, and I think I'm just better on the fly. Love you. I love you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show, where we discuss culture, news, politics, and more. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the revolution.